Hey everyone, good morning and welcome to Everyday Faith, day number 6. My name is Rachel and we're going to jump right in with our devotion today. So we're looking at Habakkuk chapter 3 verses 17 and 18. The verses, even though the fig trees have no blossoms and there are no grapes on the vines, even though the olive crops fail and the fields lie empty and barren, even though the flocks die in the fields and the cattle barns are empty, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will be joyful in the God of my salvation. Whew, that's a hard one. Because when I look at these words, like obviously no blossoms, no grapes, crops have failed, fields lie empty and barren, flocks have died, cattle barns are empty, and then the ending is, yet I will rejoice. So this is written by Habakkuk, who, he goes on to saying that when he wrote this, it was during a time of evil oppression and persecution. And he was writing it not to encourage other people, but rather because he was going through the difficulties as he wrote it. He found refuge and hope in comparing his circumstances with the cynical quality of nature. He used the literal landscape around him to paint a metaphorical portrait of what he and others were experiencing at the time. While this didn't solve the Israelites' problems, it gave them courage to journey through the oppression until God led them to a place of fruitfulness and freedom. I will rejoice in the Lord. I will be joyful in the God of my salvation. So, oppression, yuck, emptiness, barren, flocks that are dead, cattle barns that are empty, yuck, 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 yuck. But let's rejoice. Let's rejoice in the Lord. And how hard is that? I mean, it's such a hard thing, but you know that whenever you go through the yuck in life, rejoicing is the best place to be. But how hard is that, right? So I found this I'm going to read you this thing that talks about Christian joy. Because this kind of helped me wrap my mind around this whole thing of being joyful in the yuck, in the suffering, in the pain, in whatever it is. Okay, bear with me. Christian joy, that's what we all have. Christian joy is the emotion springing from the deep down confidence of the Christian that God is in complete and perfect control of everything. So that's Christian joy. Christian joy is the emotion springing from the deep down confidence of the Christian that God is in complete and perfect control of everything. Here's where it gets really good. Christian joy is not an emotion on top of an emotion. It is not a feeling on top of a feeling. It is a feeling on top of a fact. It is an emotional response to what I know to be true about my God. So it's not an emotion on an emotion. It's not an emotion on top of a feeling. It is an emotion on top of a fact. A fact about what I know to be true of my God. And that is why you can rejoice. Right? Amen. So hopefully right now you're thinking of a time where you were going through something just yuck. You're going through pain, suffering, a loss, sickness, all those things that are just yuck. And God got you through. Amen? And you can rejoice in that. I love that we're doing resilience this month because we're kind of piggybacking off of what we had, truth, and then we had doubt. And so I feel like we've been preparing, like these last 2 months, we've been like laying all this groundwork on, trust and these verses that we can just like trust the Lord and we're in his hand and all these great things. And so now it's like we can develop this resilience through that because our rejoicing is not the joy on top of an emotion or on top of a feeling. Our joy, our Christian joy is coming from the fact of who our God is. Amen to that. I love that. I just love that, love that, love that. So, as you are walking around your day today, if it is barren and it is ugly and it is yuck and there are no blooms on your trees, I am sorry. but rejoice in it, because you know what? God has already gone before you. God is faithful, and you will see blooms again, my friend. I love you all. Have a great day. Bye.